everyone, welcome back to another Python episode. Let's review from the previous episode. We covered variables followed by a Python quiz. So today we're going to learn input. What is input? Input is a built-in function similar to print, which makes your program more interactive by asking the user to enter some data. This explanation is quite complicated for now, but you'll understand it when I do an example. Let's dive into the syntax of input. This is an example I have taken. Secret number is the variable I have made, and we assign it to an input command. Input, similar to print, is a function, so we have to add bracket or parentheses and quotes. Inside them goes a string or text that we want Python to say, and we can respond to it. So this says enter a number between 1 and 100. So when we run this, it will ask us to enter a number between 1 and 100, and we can actually respond to it by typing in a number between 1 and 100. So here's an example using input. Favorite food is equal to input. What's your favorite food? And then we can print the answer that we have wrote to this question. And then we can print a message which includes the answer that we have responded to in the question. So print your favorite food is, and then favorite food, whatever you have inputted, and then it will say yum. We can try this out in the Python shell. So then if I press enter, it will ask us what's your favorite food, and then we can respond to it. Maybe as an example, I can put ice cream. And then we can print out our variable to see if its value is equal to ice cream. And then you should see it's ice cream. And you see there's a space because I added a space here to make it more neat and readable. And then we can print our variable out with a message. And you see we're using commas this time. So it will say, your favorite food is ice cream, yum. There's supposed to be an exclamation mark after yum, but that's okay. So we can do another example, but it's a bit more advanced. So I can read it out to you. So we're making a variable called num of apples. So num stands for number. And then we're asking how many apples would you like? And then we can print our variable out. And then we can print our variable with a message here. So it would say you would like whatever number you inputted apples. And then we can make a new variable called giveaway apples. So this variable asks an input for how many apples you want to give away. And then we're making a new variable called apples left. So this will keep track of how many apples are left. So we're going to do number of apples minus giveaway apples. And then we're going to print out our new variable we've just made. So I'm going to try this out in the idle shell. So if we press enter, it's going to ask us how many apples would you like? And then let's say for an example, maybe 5. So we're going to print a message with our variable. So it would say you would like 5 apples. I added a space there, so there was an extra space there, but it's okay. So we're going to make a new variable called giveaway apples. And if we press enter, it will ask us how many apples would you like to give away. Let's say 3. So I'm going to make a new variable called apples left. And you see when we declare this, there's already going to be an error. I'm going to explain this in the next slide, but if we just type apples left, you'll see there's going to be another error. It's going to say name apples left is not defined. So here is where the error occurs. So if we're doing number of apples, take away giveaway apples, these values are just a string, as this text is a string. So this is going to make these two variables values a string. So you can't do a string, take away a string. So that's why there's an error. So we have to convert both of them to an integer in order to subtract them. And then we just write the same thing, except we write int in front of the variable, and we do the variable in brackets for both of them in order to convert them into an integer. And then here we are checking how many apples are left, and hopefully it should work now. And also, just to prove it's a string, if we print out number of apples, you see 5 is going to be a string. Alright, so if we convert both of them to an integer, let's see if it will work. So there's no error, which is good, because we haven't told Python to print out that variable. So let's do that now. So you see it's going to be 2, because 5 take away 3 is equal to 2. So we're going to do a keyboard volume practice question using input. So we're going to use 3 variables, and we're each going to assign them to make the width, the height, the length of a keyboard. And then we're going to do volume of a keyboard is equal to L times W times H. And we've converted them all into integers. So that is the official formula to find the area of a keyboard. And then we can print our variable out to see the volume of a keyboard. So let's try this in the idle shell. So if we press enter, it's going to ask us to enter the width of a keyboard, and for now we can make it 3. So if we press enter, it's going to ask us to input the height of the keyboard. Let's make it maybe 5. And then if we press enter, it's going to ask us to enter the length of a keyboard. So let's say maybe 8. So now we've written the formula for the volume of a keyboard. We can press enter, and then we can print our variable out. And then you see it's going to be 120. So it's basically just going to do 3 times 5 times 8. Since it's just going to multiply these 3 numbers together. So 3 times 5 is 15, and then 15 times 8 is 120. So we can try the same example out, but we can input different numbers. So this time maybe we can make the width 2, and then maybe we can make the height maybe 7, and then maybe we can make the length 11. So the answer is going to be 120. So what we have to do is reassign our variable. So after we've reassigned our variable, we can just print it out again and see if the value changes. So it works. So now it's 154. I think it's because 2 times 7 is 14, and then 14 times 11 is 154. So if you do 14 times, that's 140. And if you add 14 to it, it would be equal to 154. So we have to reassign the variable again in order for it to work. So that is it for this episode of Python. So I know this series has been going really slow. So if you're a bit young, it would be a bit easier for you to learn if we go slowly. But maybe in the next few episodes, I'll get a bit more complicated. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. And Bye!